Welcome back to Sully's Mistake Factory. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, hit the like and subscribe button down there to stay up to date and in the know. If you look behind me here, we are no longer up on the hard, guys. We are actually in the drink. The boat is in the water. We've gone over everything on there. We've talked about the DC system, the engine zincs, the fuel system, the Raycore rebuild. Today's episode, guys, was not what I had planned for you guys. But things happen. And I want to be transparent. You're going to own an older boat, you're going to have repair problems. You're going to have things that need addressing. And today's case, I'm actually really happy that it happened in the slings while the boat was getting launched. This could have been way worse. So let's hop on board, guys, and I'll show you what we're talking about. All right, guys. So as I was coming down to the yard, I stopped by Dunkin' Donuts. You have to take care of your hauling crew. So I got a couple dozen donuts, some box of Joe. And by the time I got down here, they'd already had my boat in the drink. So I just dropped everything off in the office. And while I'm in the office, I hear over the radio, "Hey, Selvin boat's got a leak." I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that ever. I don't want to hear that on any boat I'm on, that there's a leak. But lo and behold, there's a leak. Hey, it's in the slings. Let's go take a look and let's see what we've got going on. So I make my way down there. The hauling crew's awesome here, top notch at Great Bay. They're making the rounds on the boat. They're checking things out. And he's like, "Listen, I can hear water coming into the boat, but I can't see it. I know almost immediately where it's coming from." He goes, "Nope, check your stuffing box." I said, "Twin engine. And I know you didn't check the other one." He goes, "You know, it's funny. I couldn't find the other one." I said, "You're right. Typical boat engineer, designer. They had one really easy to get at, and then the other one, they just kind of laughed and said, sucker." So, take you over to the first one here to show you what it's supposed to look like, and then we'll go over to the other side. So if we take a look down here, you see nice big easy access on the hatch. And take a look right there, and we can kind of see that blue hose fitting right there coming in. That is our raw water off of the engine. And then we've got that green wire right there. That is our bonding wire going into our bonding system. So not necessarily the cleanest in here, right? But everything looks pretty, happy. Bonding wire is attached. We've got that coming off of the engine. That's all good. Everything looks good there. No drips, no fuss, no muss. I said, "Yeah, well, here we go. I know it's on the other side. The other side sucks." And why is that? Well, it's because they put it, let's see, it's kind of dark in here, guys. They put it under the mattress, under the water tank. So take a look in here, guys. Some brilliant engineering. And you can kind of see already, I've replaced the fitting, but you can see where that stud is, that nothing is attached to. And you can see that we have a new temporary fitting on there with a soft connect hose going onto it. So, I said, "No, we can fix that. We can go to the plumbing store. They can get me taken care of actually pretty damn quick on this." So, I got to learn what a nipple extractor was when I went to the plumbing store. This will actually help you get out that broken fitting. Now, the whole time I was there, I was trying to figure it out. If you guys take a look, if I edit this right, the picture is going to pop up right here of what I was working with. And you can see it's very pink in there, and that is signs of de-zincification. That means it wasn't bonded, but it had a bonding wire on it. Now, granted, it was just the wire, and it was wrapped around with a hose clamp because there was, for whatever reason, somebody had changed it. But I said, "No, it just didn't sit right with me as I was trying to do all this." So as I went back and got the new fittings, got it back on board, and I'm hooking everything all up and cleaning everything all up, and I grab that green bonding wire to go ahead and reconnect it, and I grab it, and, well, it wasn't connected to shit. There was nothing on the other end. It was just laying in the bilge. So that is why the zinc left the building. So you want to make sure your bonding wires are all connected together. And if they're all connected together, that means they're all going back to your transom zinc, to your rudder zincs, and everybody is on the same field. That means your sacrificial anodes are being just that, sacrificial. If they're not, the zinc is going to leave the material. That's why you'll look at some props, when prop failure, through-hull failures, things like that. It's from de-zincification, where the zinc has actually left. So, how do we test for that? It's actually really easy, guys. All you need is a standard VOM or voltmeter that has an ohms setting. You can kind of see right there. I hopefully dial in on that a little bit. it has an ohms setting or a continuity setting on it where you can test it. So I'm going to go ahead here and down so you can kind of hear a little better, but you've got 2 probes in your meter. You take 1 probe and you put it on one of the green wires, whether it's a through hole, a strainer, whatever. And then you take your other probe and you put it on another one, or you get a piece of wire or an alligator clip, extend out that if it's further apart. But when you do, press the 2, touch the 2 pieces, you should hear some audible noise. On mine, you hear it here. That's the noise it makes when I have continuity. Things are touching. We know that it is one continuous loop. So that way we know we are good. So if you just go through your bonding system, check all of your green wires, you don't have to worry about doing anything else for a quick test. You at least know that everybody is good, everybody is connected, everybody is on board, everybody is on the same page, and you're going to hopefully mitigate this problem. Now, why was this problem really a concern? And I'm really glad that if it was going to happen, that it happened here in the yard, in the slings, and that it was an easy fix. Well, a lot of boats will either have what I have there, or they'll do a plastic. But what it is you have a 1/2-inch hose coming off of the engine from the raw water cooling side. So you've got a fire hose of water if you're running, and then you got a 1/2-inch hole from the bottom coming up. So basically you've got a 1-inch hole in your boat. Had I been running and underway and that happened, that would have been no bueno. Bilge pumps would have been put to the test. I'd have to get a haul out, the whole thing. It would have been a mess. So I'm really happy that that was found. Now, I could have chose to just go back and do a nylon or a plastic fitting in there. That would have mitigated the issue with the bonding for that portion of it. But those become brittle, they crack, they get old, then you're chasing them out of there, and it's a pain in the butt. I figured this last one lasted 30 years, and the only reason it failed was because of the bonding wire not being hooked up properly. It was through no other failure other than that. So I thought, you know what, let's go back with what works. We slap that in there. So now I need to go get some additional wire to run in there. So when we're talking bonding wire, green. It has to be green. Should be 6 or 8 gauge wire, and you want to make sure that it is connected throughout. Don't use yellow. Somebody's going to think that's a DC negative wire. Don't use black. Somebody's going to think that's an AC hot wire. And either one of those are going to speed up the de-zincification process and create all kinds of other havoc for you if somebody gets on board and sees that. So get the green wire. That's what I'm going to go do here next. I got to go out. I thought I had some on board. I don't. And then I'm going to go on, find a good spot to connect this to, and we're going to make sure we come up with the best way to reconnect it in the back there. And then we're also going to go through and just check some of the other stuff on board. So I'm going to go grab some wire. We'll be back and see what we can do to get this all taken care of and rectified and squared away. All right, guys, so we have made the parts run. I've made the Amazon order. Everything has shown up through the miracle of the internet and Amazon delivery. We have our 8-gauge green Anchor wiring that we're going to be using for our bonding. And while I was at it, guys, I also went ahead and the fitting that was on there, if you noticed during the cutaway, actually, it was similar to this guy right here. There's actually 2 parts here. You can see this guy's just threaded on there. That's barb into a 90. This is brass. Now, it worked for the time being. We stopped the leak. We got the boat in. We were able to go run the boat. However, while we were waiting for stuff, let me go online. Let me go to the power of Amazon, see what's happening there. And lo and behold, they have Groco in bronze, single fitting, and it is a barb, and it is a dual step barb. It's 1/2 inch and I think 5/8 or something like that. So you've got a dual fitting on here for the hoses, and this is a better metal to have. This is going to fit in better. This has got more zinc in it. This is going to last better. This is more durable in our saltwater environment. Now, I'm going to put these two side by side if I can right here. And you guys kind of see the difference in color between the two here. We look, this guy right here, that is our bronze fitting, and that is our brass. You can see the brass is a little more, I don't know, gold color, I guess. So that's what we've got going on there. So we're going to go ahead. We're actually in the drink right now. So I'm going to go ahead, unthread out the old fitting that isn't right. I mean, like I said, it is by, but I want to be done with it. And then I'm going to thread this guy in. So we're going to have a 1/2 inch hole in the boat, in the water. Going to get a 55-degree bath of water flooding in. I'm going to go ahead and thread this bad guy in there. Go ahead, slam the hose on there, tighten this thing all up, and hopefully that all goes smoothly. Then we'll go ahead, we'll put the bonding wire on this guy, get everything all bonded up nice, and we should be in good shape. So let's go hop down there and see how we make out. right, guys, so the sun is setting, and that is a wrap on this project. As you saw, it was a little stiff getting the old elbow out of there, but we went ahead, we got that out, we got the bronze fitting in there. You saw I actually had to cut the piece of hose that I had in there because it was just really snug, and I wasn't going to waste my time trying to pull off the hose just because we've got a 1/2-inch hole pouring water into the boat. And you saw as I was getting that out of there, cut a new piece of hose and put it on there. Now, that piece of hose is just a small soft patch section that then goes to a piece of hardline that goes up to the motor. That's also another soft patch there. So I thought about replacing that and just running all new 1/2-inch hose. I didn't do that just because the way it was routed and the amount of time I was going to end up having to leave basically a 1/2-inch hole in the boat with water running in. The risk reward just didn't seem to pay off on that one. So, but I do have that on my list for next fall to take care of. So hopefully you guys learned a little something with this episode. Maybe your boat's already in the drink and you're getting ready to take that spring cruise or summer cruise, and you want to go ahead and check those bonding systems, check those wires, check all your through hauls. Make sure you avoid crisis, guys. That's it. I mean, like I said, this could have ended way worse for me. So wasn't a planned episode of this week's Sully's Mistake Factory, but it was good content, and hopefully you guys learned a little something along the way. I don't know what I got in store, guys, for next week. I really don't yet. I had a couple ideas. We'll see if the parts actually show up for them, and if not, I'll see you guys out in the water. In the meantime, enjoy the view from my back deck.